Tom and Dave, best mates since childhood, shared a thirst for adventure. The Australian Outback, a land of raw beauty and unforgiving extremes, called to them. Their beat-up Land Cruiser, loaded with supplies, became their chariot into the unknown. Excitement crackled in the air as they left civilization behind. Red dust billowed behind them, a trail leading to the heart of the world's oldest living culture. They were prepared for harsh conditions, or so they thought. The Outback, however, held surprises they could never have anticipated.
The first days were exhilarating. We navigated ancient canyons and marveled at rock formations sculpted over millennia. Kangaroos bounded across the plains, their silhouettes stark against the setting sun.
Nights were a symphony of stars, the Milky Way a shimmering river across the sky. They shared stories around the campfire, the flames painting their faces with an orange glow. But the Outback is a deceptive beast. Beneath its beauty lies a primal force, ancient and unpredictable. As the days melted into one another, a sense of isolation crept in. The vastness of the landscape became oppressive, the silence deafening. They were intruders in a land where survival was a daily battle, a battle they were about to experience firsthand. The engine coughed. A shudder ran through the Land Cruiser. Tom gripped the steering wheel tighter, his knuckles turning white.
What was that?
Dave asked, his voice tight with concern. Tom tried to sound calm, but fear gnawed at his gut.
Don't know, mate. Probably just overheating.
He pulled over, the engine sputtering its final breaths before falling silent. They were stranded. The sun beat down on them relentlessly. The air shimmered with heat, distorting the horizon. Panic welled up in Tom's chest. They were miles from any known track, their radio useless. Dave tried to remain optimistic, but the gravity of their situation settled upon them like the oppressive heat.
We need to ration our water,
he said, his voice strained. Tom nodded, fear twisting his features. He knew the dangers of dehydration in this unforgiving environment. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the red earth, they set up camp. A fire, small and contained, was essential. They huddled close, seeking comfort in each other's presence as darkness enveloped them. The silence was broken only by the crackling flames and the occasional howl of a dingo in the distance. The howl sent shivers down their spines. It was a mournful sound, a reminder that they were not alone in this desolate wilderness. Sleep came in fitful bursts, plagued by nightmares and a growing sense of unease. Each rustle of leaves, every cry of a night bird, sent their hearts racing. Tom woke with a start, his skin crawling. Something felt wrong. He scanned their campsite, his eyes adjusting to the darkness.
Dave, you awake?
He whispered, his voice hoarse. Dave stirred, his eyes heavy with sleep.
Yeah, what is it?
Tom hesitated, not wanting to voice his fear.
I don't know, just a feeling. Like we're being watched.
Dave sat up, scanning their surroundings. The fire had burned down to embers, casting flickering shadows that danced in the darkness.
Probably just nerves,
he said, though his voice lacked conviction. As dawn broke, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, they discovered something unsettling. Footprints, large and unfamiliar, circled their campsite. They were too big to be a kangaroo, too far from water to be a feral camel. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through their fatigue. The Outback, they realized, held more than just natural dangers. They tried to rationalize the footprints, attributing them to a lost hiker or an animal they couldn't identify. But deep down, a primal instinct told them otherwise. They were being hunted. The thought sent chills down their spines, a stark reminder of their vulnerability in this vast and ancient land. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the red earth, the fear that had been gnawing at Tom and Dave began to take a more tangible shape. The firelight flickered, and the shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own.
Did you hear that?
Tom whispered, his voice barely audible over the crackling fire. Dave nodded, his eyes wide with fear.
Yeah, I heard it.
The sound of footsteps, slow and deliberate, echoed through the still night air. They were not alone.
You shouldn't be here.
A voice, low and menacing, cut through the darkness. Tom and Dave's hearts raced as they scanned the shadows for the source.
Who's there?
Tom called out, trying to keep the tremor out of his voice. There was no response, only the oppressive silence and the flickering firelight. The sense of being watched, of being hunted, was almost unbearable.
We need to get out of here now.
Dave's voice was urgent, filled with a primal fear. Tom nodded, his mind racing with the possibilities of what or who could be out there. The Outback had become a place of terror, a land where the line between the known and the unknown blurred into a nightmare.